In this video, we will be tasting and talking about batch 86 of the EcoChat Tea Club, a Shan Lin High Mountain Oolong tea. Batch 86 of the EcoChat Tea Club is a Shan Lin High Mountain Oolong tea. But it's not just any Shan Lin High Mountain Oolong tea. In fact, it's unique in our experience in terms of its location, the location of the farm, that is. It's located within a forest park. It's the Shan Lin Forest Recreational Park, is my translation, impromptu. The quick synopsis of this family's history is that our newly made friend's great-grandfather was involved or cooperated with the Japanese as they logged in this area, unfortunately. And he was in charge of replanting the cleared forest area with trees and bamboo. And then at some point in the generational succession, they decided to plant tea, basically during the time where Shan Lin was the early development of the Shan Lin High Mountain tea growing region. And this land, which is legally theirs, although it's isolated and surrounded by this national forest land, continues to be farmed by this family. It's the only existing farm left in this particular micro area. And yeah, we just went up there yesterday for the first time. They have their own access road. They have a workstation before the farm, and then the farm is up on a shoulder, basically a small ridge. And it's not very big at all. It's in the hills immediately around it. It's kind of in there are hills on all sides except looking down the valley, so on three sides, I should say. And its original forest. Those hills were not accessible. There were no roads to get to them, so they weren't forested back in the day when the Japanese occupied Taiwan. And so that's the geographical area. It's about 1,900 meters elevation. And it's above the Longfengxia area, which is classically referred to as the highest elevation area in the Shan Lin region. There are a couple of smaller spots further up the mountain nearby this farm. But we have never seen such a beautiful environment for a tea garden. It was really special to be up there. We'll share some video clips with you and you can see it for yourself. It was quite the adventure to go up there, and it was a beautiful sunny day. I actually got kind of sunburned. If I look red, I'm wearing a red shirt this time around because this coming week is the Lunar New Year, the biggest holiday here in Taiwan, and traditionally people wear red. And before I forget, with the Tea Club pack, we included a Tea Club gift. If I don't have one to show you, but you have yours, and it's in the shape of a leaf, and it's actually a filter to put over the cha hai, or your tea pitcher. And when you pour the tea from your teapot into the tea pitcher, you can filter the slight, basically just microparticles of tea dust that come off the leaves as they're brewing, so that the tea can be seen in its pure liquid form. So that's a tea filter. It can be placed over. It's totally flat, but liquid pours through it seamlessly and without spreading across and spilling over. It's kind of magic that way. Along with that gift, we included, as we do each year, Chun Lian. This is the character. Chun means spring in Chinese, and this classically goes right in the middle of a front door or entrance. So that can be put on your front door. It can be put anywhere, on your office door, on your office wall, anywhere that you feel is the appropriate spot for your Lunar New Year gift. Happy Year of the Rabbit. We're moving out of the Year of the Tiger and moving into the Year of the Rabbit. big festivities to come here in Taiwan in the next couple of weeks. Okay, without further ado, I want to take a sip of tea. Here is my first brew. I brewed 12 grams of tea leaves in this 175, 180 milliliter teapot, starting at 1 minute. Well, actually, the first brew was about 1 minute 10 seconds, second 1 minute, third 1 minute, and then 1 minute 15 and about 1 minute 45 for the fifth brew. The tea is cooled down by now. This batch is a mixture. It's actually first for us with high mountain oolongs. It's not a common practice for high mountain oolong. But this time around, okay, the story is I was searching for alternate sources of Shan Lin high mountain oolong this winter. Our ongoing source decided to let his plot of tea rest for winter and did not harvest. And I happen to know a lot of people in this area, and many of them have plots of high mountain tea in the Shan Lin region. So it was a good opportunity to go do the rounds and see people that I don't normally see. And a neighbor, somebody who's not a tea person, told me that his nephew's family has a tea farm in this pristine environment area. And I immediately jumped on that opportunity. The nephew came and met at my neighbor's house, and we brewed his recently harvested winter tea. And I had I went straight back to 30 years ago when I first tasted high mountain oolong here in Taiwan in the early 90s, and was immediately hooked. I mean, I'm getting chills, both at the experience of the tea and the memory. It was just the composition. It's commonly agreed upon that the composition of high mountain teas has changed over the last 30 years. 30 years ago, the land was just developed for the first time. Fresh forest soil, freshly planted young tea trees. It was all very fresh and vibrant. And the first sip of his winter tea just brought me right back there. And I was like, this reminds me of what I was originally impressed by with high mountain tea. And I visited the nephew, I will call him by his name, Ashu, in his home, and I got to taste spring harvest, fall harvest. This is at an elevation where they only harvest 3 times. Their farming practice is more sustainable than the common practice of people that are trying to get a higher yield. They see their farm as exclusive as it is and want to make the best quality tea for the longest time possible in terms of sustaining their farm for years to come. So they harvest 3 times a year, and we tasted all 3. I tasted 2 from spring. One was very lightly oxidized, another was more oxidized. That was unbelievably delicious. The summer tea was pretty much a nice balance, also very nice. And the winter tea, there were 2 harvests as well. One lighter, there were 2 days of harvest, and the one that we had the opportunity to get a bit of, not a whole lot, was the more oxidized one, which is one I definitely preferred. So he had a small amount of the winter harvest left, and we did just this. We decided it wasn't enough for the tea club. And I said, I need this amount to cover, to be able to share with all our members. And he said, well, you could mix some of the summer batch in with it. And so we tried it, and brewing the tea leaves, it tasted really good. And that's what this is. This is 50% August 2022 and 50% October 2022 harvest. Same farm, same people making it, just 2 different growing seasons, back to back, 2 months apart. It's just very full flavored, concentrated. There's a better word for it. It's just compact in its flavor profile. It's hard to explain because you just feel like it's concentrated, but it's also so vibrant and fragrant. It kind of like really pops in your sinuses. I'm just going to keep going here and see if I can pull out any flavor notes. I think the classic descriptive adjectives would apply. Creamy, vegetal, herbal, floral. They're all there in this particular combination offered by these two batches mixed together of some of the best tea and definitely the most pristine environment for a tea farm that I have ever seen. I'm saying that very confidently. This is the most pristine tea farm that I have ever seen here in Taiwan. It's on its own in full-on nature. Really, really beautiful. So psyched to have a chance to meet these people, to hear their family story. Coming as an update to this family's history, we met the son. He's 27 years old. He is very committed to becoming a tea professional. In fact, he already is. He made this tea. He really, really impressed me in his intensity and his commitment and his skill set and his knowledge. His dad obviously is a master. The dad is very quiet. He didn't speak, he only said hi when I visited their house. Seems quite shy, probably has never spoken with a foreigner before. I look forward to getting to know the family more. So the son has this year decided to do every course possible given by the Tea Research and Extension Station and in cooperation with local farmers associations. He's doing tea making courses, tea tasting courses, taking all the tests, getting all the certifications. So he's just really sucking up all the knowledge he can. He dedicated 2022 to doing all the coursework, and then he feels like he's really just going to dive in. He goes around to other factories as he does the most essential job in terms of making tea. He does the tumble heating. Well, basically he does all of it, but he's allowed to do tumble heating as well, which is definitely a higher level and actually a better pay. So at 27 years old, he's established himself as a proper tea maker, a tea professional. He goes to the Lishan and Dayuling with a kind of team leader who gets a group of people in this. Our town, Jushan Bamboo Mountain, has the highest concentration of tea makers, particularly high mountain oolong tea makers on Taiwan. And the people here who are good at it are sought after in other regions. So he goes to the more prestigious regions and works there as well. After Shan Lin is definitely the most familiar region to me personally. It's where I've hung out and traveled about and been in factories the most compared with other high mountain tea making regions. And this really just went up a whole step in terms of the level of specialty tea and finding one that is unique. This tea farm is unique, and these people are committed to making the best tea that they can. It's a very small amount of tea they produce. They get a good price for it. This is definitely the limit in terms of our budget, and it's actually over, but we couldn't resist. We really wanted to start off 2023 with a tea that is special. We have a lot of new members in our club right now. We want to show you what this club is about and our dedication to finding things that are special that you will not find on the market, particularly in cases like this. So, January 2023, it's also the Lunar New Year at the end of January, January 22nd to be exact. So we want to celebrate in style. We have this very special high mountain oolong that will set a new bar for you if you already are. And if you are new to it, you'll get a sense of what everybody is talking about and what the craze is. As I was brewing this batch, especially when I just dumped the leaves out of the pot, it was like this candy orange aroma. And that's one thing you can appreciate is if you smell the aroma coming off the cup when it's still hot after you drink the cup, or pour after you pour out of the pitcher, or pour out of the pot, you can definitely appreciate the aroma coming off the leaves while they are brewing, in between brews, I should say. But the empty vessels have an effervescence that's much more subtle and really just a whole different flavor or aromatic profile. So there's really a lot to explore in terms of the aromatics that are coming off the tea as it brews when it's still hot. And then we like to assess the flavor most when the tea has cooled. This is the 5th brew again. Yum. Thanks for being with us. Happy Lunar New Year, Year of the Rabbit. We hope you find a good spot for your spring Manlian, as it's called. We wish you all the best in the year of 2023 and the Lunar New Year of the Rabbit. Thanks for being with us. We'll see you next month.